There are a lot of things that sellers believe about Amazon that used to be true about 5 or 10 years ago, but today are holding their brands back. The reason is because the game is changing very fast, and the people that adapt are the ones that are going to win. In this video, Kai and myself are going to break down 5 Amazon myths we still hear all the time from sellers and why they might actually be hurting your growth. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the growth series, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below so you don't miss a video every time we upload. And if you want some second eyes on your store, maybe to see where you might be leaving some money on the table, then use the link in the description to book in a free audit call with our team. Myth number one, if the product is good, it will sell. What are your thoughts on this?
This is something that I hear a lot from a lot of Amazon sellers is I've got a great product. I've got great reviews. This is just going to sell. We're going to make millions. A lot of times it's true. You've got a banger product. You've got something that's super innovative. That's very true. But you need a strategy behind it to make it work in the e-commerce world. Nowadays, the Amazon space especially is extremely rigorous. There's some big players out there. There's also cheap competitors that have crazy margins. It's an incredibly rigorous environment that's nothing like it used to be. And so you need to come in here with a proper strategy. I was talking to someone yesterday who was saying, we're number 2 on this list, we're selling all of this, we're doing great, but in terms of advertising, I'm kind of just going to see how it goes. I've worked with a lot of sellers in the past that told me, I'm just going to, throw ad spend at the different channels and we'll see what sticks. You need a proper strategy, everything on the contents advertising side, and that brand strategy that kind of encompasses everything. If your landing page or your website or your Amazon storefront or your listing is not optimized for when your quality customer lands there, then you're just wasting your money. I want to cover a second part of this question as well, because a lot of people do have a quality product. They're right in saying that this is going to sell itself. Some marketers out there that will sell trash product to yours a lot better than you. Why is that? If your product is so much better, because they've got the marketing strategy behind it, putting all the best practices on graphic design work that is really high quality, listings together that are fully optimized. They're putting all the A+ content, the brand store, the brand story, and that really is driving a brand strategy. We see managers that really are queued up and know what they're doing. Where they're lacking is on the quality of the product, which if they are lying in their marketing, they're going to get a lot of returns. But since you can use your unique selling propositions of having a quality product and a good product, you will have the upper hand once you set up good marketing strategy.
You started talking about ads, which is actually the very second myth which we see most sellers believe. That is completely wrong. Myth number two, more ads will fix slow sales. And we hear this all the time in the agency. You know this. What do you think about this, guy?
Exactly. That's at the end of the day, that's translated as I'm just going to buy more customers. Buy customers, they come with a cost. You're not going to become profitable. And so it's like I was saying before, you need to make sure that everything is optimized, convert those exact customers. And I'm not just saying, I'm selling a piece of plumbing equipment for plumbers, but I'm going to make it optimized for B2C kind of dads that want to fix their own plumbing. No, I want to focus on B2B plumbing companies that are going to use this exact product in the way that they would need to use it in their business. So that's how I want to target it in all of my marketing efforts. Very random example. We don't have any clients in plumbing or anything, but that's what came to my mind. But it needs to be really focused before you spend any money.
The third myth, Amazon is just about price and reviews. Why do you think this myth is wrong, and what actually works in the space?
It's a super underrated myth. I think a lot of people disregard that because there's kind of a price range which you expect to have products on Amazon, right? I mean, everyone they're on their phone on the couch and they're like, we need more plastic cups for the party that's coming up, or I need a new USB-C charger. There's kind of certain products that you'll think an Amazon product should be within this range. It's again false. If you have a product that's, we have clients with products that are over $700 and they sell well on Amazon because of the certain strategy that we take. To cover the reviews part, well, successful launches that start with zero reviews. So at the end of the day, it just really goes about the strategy that you're taking on Amazon. But a solid product that you know has had success before, that you aren't just launching on Amazon, but you've seen success that you've sold it to people before, then you put together a killer Amazon strategy. I mean, I don't see anywhere it can fail as long as you do the research beforehand to make sure that Amazon is the right marketplace for you. Are there search terms are in line with the keywords that you're going to be putting in your title? Does it make sense for you to go into that market? Is there fair for you to grab? Then just put the killer strategy in place. Everything that we talk about here on this channel, more, then I mean, you're it to win it.
And the reality is that brand storytelling and differentiation actually matter more than most of the sellers think. Because right now you have younger shoppers who jump on the platform. They are more enticed by the way you tell your story, the things you say, the founder's story, the story behind the product, the graphics, the presentation, the words. A brand that's selling watches or luxury is going to speak to their customers differently from a brand that's selling stages. So you're absolutely right there. Let's talk about myth number 4. Once the listing is live, the work is done. Do you think this is actually accurate? What
That
are your
I love
thoughts?
that myth. I love that myth because I hear it so often. There's a lot of people that will say, and this is from, our experience from our early days in the agency where people have come on and say, I'm gonna use this as kind of like a setup and then set everything up and then I can manage it on myself or I'll just let it run, because the listings are optimized now, all the graphics are done. I've got all the campaigns set up. Now, exactly. Let's take our hands off and watch the money come in, right? That's that's completely false. Listing optimization is a thing that we do on a weekly basis, if not more. Advertising, campaign management, keyword management is things that we do on a daily basis. Even graphic design work on a monthly basis, want to make sure that we're through and changing graphics if we need to. We A/B test graphics, and marketing is all about testing. And
Uh-huh.
so you see what starts working. And obviously, other thing is, why it's good to have a human behind the strategy because you get to think outside the box. You get to think at similar audiences. What are some outside of the categories that we can start grabbing?
Yeah, and the truth is, most of the winning brands are constantly optimizing because these things, you get creative fatigue, you get copy fatigue, and Amazon is an ongoing system. And that's exactly why you need a proper agency that understands every bit of the process. There are things that you would set up and it runs for 1 or 2 weeks and then it starts to die out and it needs to be restarted. So if you have
Mm,
the right people having a look at this, that saves you a lot of the trouble and keeps your cash constantly because it's like a graph. When you set it and everything is running so smoothly, it starts to go this way. And just imagine maybe your creative starts to get a fatigue. What happens? It starts to dip down. And if you don't have an agency that's watching that, now you're losing a chunk of the money, which you should have been making on that graph.
percent. Let me just add on that because I think that last thing that you said about kind of where people become stable and it's actually plateauing is something we believe within the business is in order to grow, we really need to take always 2 steps, not just 1 step ahead, 2 steps ahead, because there's always inevitable chance that there's that 1 step back. 2 steps ahead, 1 step back. Let's always make sure that we're a step ahead of where we think we need to be. We can't just let things run. And from our end, we can't just let things run and keep our hands off it. We are in it every day to make sure that it works.
Let's talk about myth number 5. And this is a big one that most, especially young brands, start to think, oh, we don't deserve a spot on Amazon. Myth number 5,
Mm,
Amazon is getting too competitive. What do you
mm.
think?
I think it is definitely a myth. It's not completely wrong that it is getting competitive. It's not too competitive, but I would say that it is getting competitive. It's going back to what I was saying earlier that you could have a listing with some images of the product, show what it looks like, know how to use it on a very basic level. Product description in there that fits SEO, also describes how to use the product, the benefits you're getting, etc. And sell well. You could sell well. You could even have your reviews carry everything and you would do a good job. Nowadays, that is not the case. If you want to be up there with your top competitors, with the top leaders in your space, You need to be following all the best practices. You need to have a set of 7 images, especially on your best sellers, on all of your products if possible. You need to be having your unique selling propositions highlighted through infographics that are going to be super readable, that are going to connect specifically with your target audience. Like Ari, like you were saying, the language has to be all fitting in there with how you're talking to your target audience. The same for the A+ content, the same for the brand story. It's all a strategy. We need to lead them through a funnel to make sure that we increase their average order value. Campaign management, advertising has gotten much more competitive, much more rigorous. You can't afford to be losing on ads that don't convert. You're losing not only money, but you're wasting time doing this kind of stuff. So yes, it has become more competitive. I won't say that that's completely wrong. That being said, we always see this in growth scalers. If there's a challenge, there's a big opportunity.
Of
If
course.
we have all the tools available to deliver on these challenges, have a massive opportunity to actually do a really good job in this space for your product. So many people that have come to us and they're like, we're making $1 million a year, pretty capped at where we're at. But we do XYZ product. I don't want to name anyone because I've got someone in mind, but we don't think you could do any better in terms of how can you this product graphically? What magic could you really do to make this a bit more sexy as a product? Like I was saying, we have our best practices, we have our fundamental things that we need to put in place. We tailor that to that specific brand, the strategy, and what do you know? We can see growth because the best practices are. You might think that you got some steady growth. There's always some more opportunity out there to grab a little bit more. So many times have I seen it time and time again, is always more potential for your brand.
So yes, the competition is high, but the opportunity is bigger for the brands that understand how to build properly. So there you go. Thank you very much, Kai, for sharing. And that's a wrap on 5 Amazon myths we still see holding brands back. And would love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these myths have you fallen for in your own store? Please drop that in the comment. And by the way, if you want some second eyes on your brand, on your store, to have a look and see where you might be possibly leaving some money on the table, then check out the link in the description and book in a free strategy call to speak to our team.